Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I've had 2 Monster Energy drinks today. Let's not talk about it. Anyways, in today's video, we're creating this really cool tone look using the That's Taupe palette from Colourpop. I wanted to just sit down and do something like super glam with it, and we ended up being a little bit dead, a little bit delicious, and a little bit glam. So yeah, if you want to see how I got this look, just go ahead and keep on watching. But before you do, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know some more looks you'd like to see. Do you want to see some more looks with the That's Taupe palette? Also, let me know, should I get the Mary Jane palette from Melt or the Natasha Denona Glam palette, or do I get both? Let me know. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this look. Okay, hello. I'm doing something real bad. I'm drinking a Monster. I don't like to drink Monster because I get hooked on them. Particularly the coffee flavored ones. I don't like the regular Monsters. I like the Java one. I really like the one with the 300 on it with the triple shots. And I might have had 2. This might be my second one today. I know, you don't have to tell me, but I don't know. I just want one. Today we're gonna create a cool tone look and just have some fun and play in makeup. I want to do something a little bit dramatic, very cool toned, but not like gray, taupey. Think Natasha Denona Glam palette. I'm currently debating between the Glam palette or the Mary Jane palette from Melt. So I figured, well, today, in the meantime, let's play with the That's Taupe palette because it kind of is the best of both worlds there. It's got vibes similar to both palettes. I think more like the Glam palette, but whatever. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. I've got my favorite brushes pulled. And I'm going to start out with a E25 from Sigma. I've already primed my eyes, used Sigma eye base crayon thing. I'll link it below. All my products that I use are linked below, by the way. I've started actually linking products and doing metadata now, not being lazy. So yeah, pull a bit of concealer just like right under the brow to kind of tidy it up. Set everything down with some translucent powder, and here we are. I'm going to start with the shade Boa, just in the transition, and I'm just going to keep the brush sideways and run that through. I usually use a bigger brush for this, but why not? Just gonna get my look started here. I did put some a white-ish bone colored eyeshadow just on the brow bone from the Vive palette. This palette doesn't have a nice brow bone shade for me. This one could almost be. It's really not much pigmentation here, or well, not much depth with this shade. I'm kind of using it as almost like a base shade, just to kind of start us out. All right, next let's go into Pebble Beach. I'm gonna try Pebble Beach and see what it does. Same brush, and I'm just gonna focus it a little bit more concentrated here. But yeah, just focusing that right here into that transition and socket line. This was kind of what I was expecting Boa to do. And we're gonna kind of get real lifted here. I'm gonna take it like right out here and blend it and really kind of contour the eye. All right, moving a little deeper, let's take Rock Steady, same brush, and focusing it really into that socket line. What I like about this palette is one that you can work really fast with and create a look in no time because it's just a very easy to work with palette. I don't think anybody with a medium to deep skin tone is going to get anything really from this one. It is so gently kind of pigmented. It's not a rich palette at all. There's not a lot of depth in here. But if you are uncooked chicken, like myself, as Teresa is Dead would say, I think this palette would benefit you. I'm just letting that blend out into our previous shade. And we're going to build that up and really get some good depth going. Alright, I'm going to jump over to Bedrock. I think I'm going to hop down to a Precision Firm Blender. I'm going to start working that right out here on this outer corner with circular motions. Let's go back to our E25 and buff those edges. A little bit more Bedrock. Right in there, into that outer V. I'm going to slowly pull it across into the socket as well. Just whatever's left on the brush, kind of a little more gently pigmented there. In fact, we can take a little bit on our E25 and really tap it off. Start it out here and then pull over. So I want to make sure that is visible when my eye is closed, or when my eye is relaxed. That looks really nice. And like I think I said last time I used this palette, right here would be such a pretty, just soft, everyday, like go to the office type of look. I'm gonna take a little bit more bedrock because we're not going for going to the office today. We're going for a little bit more drama than that. So I'm just go ahead and build that up all through the socket now. Let's just go for it. And turn that brush on the side, blend. You'll take a little bit more rock steady, just that right around that edge. And I'm cleaning my brush off in between shades, back into a little bit of Pebble Beach, just above there, just to blend everything. Okay, for the lid, I'm gonna take a little packer brush here, just a kind of a short shader type of brush. And I'm gonna go into Constrictor. And I think I'm gonna dampen my brush just to prevent getting a lot of fallout. Alright, I'm gonna pat that onto the lid. I'm gonna start out here, work my way over, just patting motions to begin with. Colourpop metallics really do perform best on a dampened brush in my experience. So if you want a lighter wash, you can do it on a dry brush. I like this shade because there's like a hint of green in it. It's very pretty. As you can see, kind of in comparison, how it's pulling much more stony green compared to the crease shades. Cool looking. It's kind of unique. Kind of a greeny pewter around that edge. I'm gonna grab a E33. This is a detail diffuse crease. Take a little bit more bedrock and just run it right around this edge. Back to my E25. A little bit more rock steady. Just kind of playing here and building depth up. Pebble Beach. Sometimes after I add my lid shade, I'm like, yeah, we need more in the crease to balance it out. Just a little bit of back and forth. That's the way I like to work. All right, now I'm gonna take a little bit of the shade Slated, which is a Super Shock shadow, and it is super metallic and shiny and beautiful. And I'm gonna take it on that same little short shader brush and pop it on the inner corner here. This will just really catch the light. Let that flow over into Constrictor. Okay, cool. For liner, black liner, just right at the lash line. I have to get in a little mirror to do this. I'm just gonna focus it right there, right at the lashes to begin with, and build it up a little bit thicker on this outer part. Not necessarily a wing. That also gives the eye a little bit of lift when you do that. And just keeping it real tight on this inner corner. Maybe we'll pull it out just a tad. I'm gonna clean off my little smudgy brush and just soften that. Okay, I'm gonna go finish up the other eye and we'll be right back for some finishing touches, lower lash line, that kind of thing. See you in just a minute. Okay, just did my foundation, contour, bronzer, concealer, setting powder, all of that. Everything I use will be, of course, linked down below. But to run through real quick, I use the L'Oreal Age Perfect foundation, Maybelline Age Rewind concealer in a regular concealer shade. I think I have Fair. And then the brightening shade, a little bit over top. Hollywood Flawless Filter from Charlotte Tilbury, Fenty Cream Bronzer, Maybelline City Bronzer, and yeah, I think that's all I've done. Oh, and the KVD Beauty Lock-It setting powder. I'm trying to pan that. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my bronzer once again because I want to marry these shades a little bit more into the skin. I've kind of warmed up the complexion just a little bit because I was looking kind of ghostly. So I'm gonna take a little bit of that bronzer on this large fluffy brush. I'm gonna come right out here and in just a bit, just to bring just a touch of warmth right into that region. And that will help marry these shades into the skin tone a little bit more naturally. Even if I look undead, as I do, shades that grayish or that taupe really don't belong in my undead skin that naturally, you know what I mean? So I do like to pull just a little warmth in. And this is such a subtle bronzer on me. This is like the perfect ghost bronzer. It doesn't read too warm. It just gives it a little bit of a transition. Which, I mean, there is actually a shade I could do that with in the That's Taupe palette. Like, I could go in with Python and get that same kind of vibe. And Pebble Beach really does kind of have that look. But things just got a little blown out, you know. So maybe we'll take just a touch of Python and run it right here just for that little bit of pinky warm. And bring it right in there. Everything's nice and cohesive. It's always good to go back and address blending and stuff after you've done your foundation, if you're a eyes first kind of gal like me. I've heard in the comments quite a few of you are. I gotta admit, I think doing the eyes first is the way to go. And if that kind of blends down just a little too much, I'm taking the edge of my beauty blender here and just kind of tapping that because I want it to be very lifted. Okay, so let's move on to that lower lash line. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my black liner here. This is the KVD Cake Pencil. And I'm just gonna take this right at that lash line on the outer corner. I'm gonna let it float up into the upper eyeshadow. I'm gonna take my little smudgy brush and just give her a little smudge. Yeah, I keep dropping stuff into Pumpkin's little bed down there and it disappears into the abyss of her blanket. I have to shake her bed out to find caps to things and brushes. At least she doesn't chew any of it up. She's a good girl about that. Like, she's chewed up one beauty blender and one lipstick in 6 years. So, I mean, that's a good dog. I'm going to clean that brush off and I'm going to go with the shade Bedrock. I'm going to get it just mostly on one side of the brush. Really tap it off and just get right under here where we place that eyeshadow, or that liner. And kind of smudge it and let it float into that outer corner and a little bit across. This is a detail diffuse crease. I'm going to take a little bit of Rock Steady on this and just kind of run that right under here. And on this little blank part, I'm going to take a little bit of Python. No, Constrictor. And I think I'm going to use a smaller brush for this. That one just seems a little bulky to get in there. So I'm going to take it on a little smudge brush from Sonia Kashuk's teeny tiny brush. Highly recommend. I will link this below. And just get that little blank bit right here. Alright, and on the inner part, same brush. Take a little bit of our slated. I thought it said something else for a minute there. Now, let's do a little bit of highlighter. I'm going to use this little Hello Halo from Wet n Wild. And I'm just going to use this side right here, the light side. This is in the shade Highlight Bling. That's kind of cringe now, isn't it? I'm just going to take that on a little highlighting brush and hit right here. This is a really pretty cool tone highlight. Come up here a little bit. I'm trying to keep things very tonal throughout the face without looking washed out at the same time. So it's a little bit of the trick using a very cool tone eyeshadows. You can go really cool tone across, you know, throughout the whole face and be very tonal with that. Or you can pair it with warm tones depending on your undertones. Even, you know, being a member of the undead, a ghost as I am, it can look not the most flattering to go in really heavily with cool tones on myself even. So I feel like going a little bit of, you know, the bronzer or something, just bring some warmth back in is a good option. Or just going in with a full-on peachy blush and a warmer lip can look great, or more neutral shades, just to keep it from looking so vampiric. But I'm not scared looking vampiric. We know that. I'll lean into it. So for blush, I'm going to take the Melt blush in Raw Honey. This is one of the Digital Dust Duos, my favorite one. And I'm going to take that on a blush brush. And I'm going to stick to the more pinky side here called Raw. And focus it back here. This does have some warmth in it, while still having like a cool tone bit. Like the base is kind of cool, but then the shift is very warm, kind of a rose gold. So this will really kind of bring some life into the look. And with the shade Raw, I'm kind of keeping it more focused toward this outer portion. So it's bringing just a little bit more life in. And we're looking a little less. We still look dead, but we're looking a little more delicious. So, leaning into it. Alright, now I take the other side, Honey, I believe is correct, Honey? Yes. And just hit a little bit higher up on the cheeks and maybe towards the front just a bit. A little bit on the nose here. Okay, alright. That is the skin done. I'm gonna pop on some mascara, maybe some lashes, touch up my eyebrows, and we're back for the lips and we'll be done. I'll see you in just a second. And I'm back. I had a lash glue explosion and I still have it on my fingers. It was that, I believe Eyelure liner, lash liner glue in black. It exploded and got all over my eyelid, on my face, all over my hands. So it went in the trash. I'm done with that thing. I tried to make it work. It worked. Like, the best experience I've had with it was the day that I tried it out. It doesn't stick. It's just weird black eyeliner. It's not even sticky enough to be worth it. It was one of those products you kind of need to sit with for a minute, but after that I was like, you know, I'm done with this. You're too much work. There's no point in fighting with a product that is not that good. I'm putting a little bit more of that highlighter just right here that we used a while ago. Okay. Anyways, I touched my brows up. I used the NYX Lift and Snatch pen to fill them in, and a bit of my Benefit Brow Gel, of course. So lips, I want to use the NYX Los Angeles. This is a NYX Suede Lip Liner in the shade Los Angeles. So what I'm going to use to line my lips initially. Oh, my lashes are Little Black Dress from Kiss. I trimmed them down a little bit more and kind of made them like 3/4 lashes. I find that to work best for me because I have a really hard time with my inner corners. And I'm going to use this L'Oreal Matte Lip Crayon in the shade Lavender Honey. I love the name of that. Lavender Honey. Does that not just sound amazing? It sounds like something that I should put in my bath. This is a very cool tone. Heather Mauve. I think it's such a pretty color and it's very tonal to this look. Very, very cool. But not like a gray, but it's a very cool tone. Grayed out mauve type of shade. But to bring a little life into it, I am going to top it with a little bit of the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in Moon. I'm just going to pop a little bit right here in the center and on the cupid's bow. Let's zhuzh the hair and throw some earrings on. I have like black on my fingers from that glue and I can't get it off because it's glue. It's very annoying. Like I started to like scrub it off with some micellar water and it just would not come off. And soapy water is not really going to cut it either. I'm going to have to get after it with makeup remover. It's like stuck in my acrylic nails. Yep, so I'm definitely not a fan of that anymore. Wasn't a huge fan to begin with, but I was willing to work with it. I'm done. I'm done. I don't want black glue all over my face because guess what? It's almost impossible to get off. I completely had to like remove my makeup in one spot and touch it up. It was awful. It's a little bit of the Wet n Wild Natural Finish setting spray. Which I got in my hair. I always get setting spray all in my hair. Eyes match my hair. And we're going to pop on some earrings. These are some little snake earrings that I love. I think these were from Shein, most likely. But I love them. They're so cool looking. They're big. They're kind of heavy, but they're just badass, right? Okay. So this is our look complete today. I know it wasn't like super chatty in today's video, which we don't always have to be chatty. I just kind of want to get down to it and just do some eyeshadow and create a look. And want to do something super cool and kind of, I guess, a little bit goth vibes here, but not, I don't know. We've got some really glowy skin. We got a little bit of dead but deliciousness going on, but just kind of muted. So yeah, anyways, thanks for hanging out with me today. Let me know in the comments down below some more looks you would like to see. Do you want to see some more stuff using the That's Taupe? And let me know, should I get the Natasha Denona Glam palette or the Mary Jane palette? I'm really torn. Also, why not both? Do I need that many cool tone palettes? I don't use cool tones that often. Let me know what you think down below. Anyways, that's all for today. I'll see y'all in the next one. Stay safe and stay spooky. Bye now.